Hello, this blog is all about how to get back to the light. In many ways, it could be a really short video because it's actually really simple. But on the other hand, it's because it's so simple that it gives us so many problems. So getting back to the light is actually not a big hard climb like up a ladder, like some of those pictures that you see of a spiritual seeker going up a ladder, but it's actually about just allowing the light to be there instead of resisting it. And I always loved a saying by Julian of Norwich, who lived her whole life in isolation, in a little cell, devoted to her spiritual practice. And she said that God is like sunshine and that we have closed the shutters and that the light of God will come naturally when we open our inner shutters. And I think that's a really good image, this idea that the divine presence, it is light. And the only reason we don't experience it all the time is because our mental activity and our psychological behaviour means that in some ways we're just not allowing it to come through. Which is why when you meditate and little monkey mind gets a break, you give him a break, the monkey mind, a he or a she, and the monkey mind's activities are closed down, then the light can shine through because there is space for it. So when there's a lot of activity going on, sensory activity, not just your ideas about what you're going to cook for dinner or where you're going to go next week or planning on holiday or what you're going to say to somebody that you're cross with, all those things. It's not just that, it's also the sensory input from the world, the weather, what's on the radio, even if it's good stuff. It's not, not just bad news, but it could be music, beautiful music. Whatever the sensory input is, it will come in and cause clutter in your mind. So if your mind is like a big room or a flat, and then all the parcels start arriving to fill up the room with the IKEA furniture or curtains and carpets and so on and so on. And so forth. That's what the mind is. But potentially it's a place for storing all this information. Now, that's not to say that the mind hasn't got some content already. The famous concept of the mind as a tabula rasa, a blank slate, is a bit of a misnomer, really, because we all come in with some content. But for the most part, on our everyday basis, we are receiving stuff. We're receiving stuff all the time through the senses. Furthermore, our psychological makeup means that we are also thinking things. And usually those things are about what we've got to do, and that's a kind of survival mechanism. So all those things combined make the mind a very busy place. Not much space for sunshine. Another useful metaphor is to think of the mind as like a window, and it gets grimy with all that stuff. It's like dust and clutter, coming up in the atmosphere, and every so often the windows need a clean. If you clean your spiritual windows twice a day, then the clutter is less likely to hang around and you begin to feel clearer in your mind. your mind becomes more open. It's like a sense of release and spaciousness inside your head. And with that spaciousness, you often get the impression of light. And some people experience coloured lights. Very early in the meditation practice, people will say, oh, I saw this purple and pink and green and so forth. So these lights are called photisms, and those are the lights that arise in the mind. They're nothing to do with external input of colour. They're something inner. And the mystics, especially the Sufi mystics, they had a very particular concept about these lights and how there were 7 of them. Is rather similar to the idea of the chakras. What the Sufis called the man of light. That if you light up all those different colours in your system, then you will, you come to be illuminated. And the man of light, sometimes I suppose a modern teacher might call the body of light, will open itself up. It's kind of illuminated. And this is an experience that mystics record for us. It's certainly an experience that I've had myself, of actually the whole physiology. Every cell is illuminated, and that illumination can be experienced in the head, but also in the whole body. And that's one of the quotations I often bring up, saying from Jesus, your whole body will be full of light. Now, the body is full of light all the time, but we do not have the awareness of it. We are not conscious of it. We're not self-conscious of the light power inside us. So it's not really a question of getting back to the light because it's already there, but it is a question of releasing it, what I call releasing your radiance, releasing your natural, shiny, glorious being that you are, that the divinity that you are within this human structure. And it doesn't matter how young or old the human structure is or becomes, the light is always there. And you see that in babies, the light, especially little twinkling in their eyes. And you can also see it in very old people, especially the older, wiser ones, the ones that don't get too grumpy. But the light participates, or we participate in the light constantly. And when we commit ourselves to a meditation practice and other practices that can support that, like yoga and so forth, then we naturally allow the light a space to express itself through our being, to our just being here, just like any other created creature or plant, and we can go out into the world, we can experience the light coming back to us from nature. And often nature mystics would say that they saw a radiance in creation, an external radiance. And then other mystics will say they experience the radiance internally. So your meditation practice is what is cleaning the spiritual windows. It's dusting the house inside and freeing it from all the taradiddle, all the rubbish and the memories from yesterday or yesteryear, and all the future concerns, all those things. They are just put to one side. And it's not the case that monkey mind, as we call it, little chattering mental activity that people experience when they close their eyes to meditate. That monkey mind is a very helpful ally, but we put it to one side when we meditate, and then there's a free space for the light to make itself apparent within your mind and potentially within your whole body. And then you can start shining in the world. So that's what I'm hoping to nudge you towards. Wake up to the notion and the idea, just get it, that you are a light being walking around in a physical body. And when you've woken up to that, you rise, you get out of your slumber and think, right, now this is who I am. This is who I really am. And what can I do with that? Well, I can shine. And the shining will depend on who you are and what your soul's purpose is. Many blessings, and don't forget to keep shining.